All right, so this is the second video. The first short clip, about 9 minutes introduction, about our family tree and little update on our status and our life in Israel. And what I want to say here is to point where this family tree is residing. It's residing on the OneDrive, OneDrive.com. Let me show how I get there. Um, okay, on the OneDrive, I have several files. The ones of importance right now, it's a public file. This is I recorded in July 2014, and this public file, there's a file of prayers and file of documents. So you can click on documents. In the document, there is a file family. You have a link over here on family shows, which is in one of the files. So let me open this. So together there is a link, and I'll email you that link. It has three folders: one on Nelix, one on Lewins, and one on Greenbergs. Well, Nelik is essentially my side of the family. Greenberg is Helene's side of the family, my wife's, and Lewin is the side of the family for my son's wife's family, for Adam's wife Allison and her family. Might be of interest, so it's saved there, the family tree for Lewins and for Greenbergs. My wife's family goes way back to Latvia from Riga, and Helene and I made a trip to Riga several years ago, and we found Helene's great grandmother's grave. Of course, as far as close you can get to it. Now, of course, the cemetery is Russians plowed it down and made a park, believe it or not. But we found a place at least where the family originates for Helene's Greenbergs. Her German side of the family, from her father's side, we don't know very much, but her one of her nephews, Jeremy, was trying to find out that side of the family. So in that in that file in Greenberg's, there are charts and diagrams. But let me go to my side, to Nelix. In it, there are several files. First of all, there's a file. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 files. One is our story, and our story, if I open this, tells the story. It's a Word file, and in it, here's a link, by the way. You can see here's a link, saved there. And thank you, cousin Jacob. Cousin Jacob lives in Los Angeles, my cousin Jacob, and recently he and I and his children Liron and my son Adam did some communication together, and we reconstructed our joint trees and destinies, if you will. So in this file, just going back, this is all story of Jewish dispersions. Once we left 2,000 years ago, when we were in exile from Israel, we end up all over the world. And this is migrations of the Jews in Spain, in France, Germany, Russia, Lithuania, Crimea, and so forth. In this area of Crimea, a little bit northeast from Crimea towards Poland, in this area, that specifically Nelik's family come from. So if we will roll on this map, my grandfather is from Kremenets, and Jacob's father is from Vizhgorodok. On this route from Brody to Kremenets, all the way around Okop and Medzbrich, then back to Vizhgorodok, you can see from Vizhgorodok to Kremenets a very short distance. That's where Neliks live. Kremenets had a huge Jewish community, as this file explains, which was all wiped out by the Germans in 1940s during the Second War. But Brody, Pochav, Okop, that's very heavily Hasidic populated area. Hasidim, Baal Shem Tov Hasidim, come from this area. That's the western Ukraine, and a little bit from here northeast away from Romania into the western Ukraine and Poland. And those days it was part of the Poland. Warsaw was the capital of the whole area. Poland Nowadays, it's Western Ukraine. It used to change hands to Russia, Poland, Ukraine. Today is part of the Western Ukraine. Okay, so that's where we're coming from. That's a tree. This is a arbitrarily for my grandfather, Adam's great grandfather, Mendel, Chaim Mendel, and I translated it into English, Hebrew, and Russian. And this is my grandparents. My grandfather I just mentioned from Kremenets. My grandmother comes from Bessarabia. I'm going to switch that in a moment. Many of her descendants live today in Israel, in Dimona, in Tel Aviv, in Ein Harod kibbutz. This is my mother, and this is a name of uh, this is Lev. I carry his name. So my mother and father, my wife and I, and Adam and Allison, and these three pictures. You guess who? This is me on the right. This is my son, and this is my daughter Serena. I call her Serena Sarah because the first letter and the last letter of her name Serena could be equated to also Samich and Resh in Hebrew, which stands and Hey for Hebrew, which is essentially Sarah. And Sarah is our great grandmother, wife of Abraham. So a lot of significance to me. So I'm not going to go through these files in every detail. You can download it and read it, but I just want to show you where the file is. Now go to the next file. That's our story. Family email, there's a file that present family emails reside over here. It also probably needs to be updated, but at least you have something. Whoops, I get off of the website, go back to www the OneDrive. It gets you back there. Here's my files. Go back to public file on documents, and here's family back to Nelix. So, and family emails, family coordinates, these three files. Then there's a photos, and then this Chaim Mendel Nelik arbitrarily in this file I mentioned before, and also the recording in Russian, Запись по-русски, and also on the instructions in Russian and English, instructions how to read the family trees. So here it is. These are instructions in English explaining how to read the files. And here's the files themselves. Here's a file for, it's called 1 JPEG. On this file 1, this is Zinger Yosef. Zingers. They had 5 children: Pesach, Reza, Rachel, Hayaetia, and Frida. From Pesach comes a big family that presently most of them live in New York. From Reza come me, my cousin Vita, Zita, and her children. And from Goldenbergs come Zhenya and his family in Dimona and other places. From Levina, Hayaetia, they stay in Odessa in 1941. The Germans came. They didn't evacuate. Entire family perished, murdered by Germans. And from Portnaya, Freda, we also don't know very much. But Goldenbergs, Neliks, and Zingers are thriving families in many places. So let me go back to file number 2. File number 2 shows the Pesach and Rachel. Pesach married Rachel, and from them comes Zinger Avram, from whom comes, um, well, you'll see it on the charter. Then we have Golda, Anatoly Zinger, Finkelstein, all these families, Goldgasser, Filkenstein, Sylvans, that's all family in New York. That's from the brother. Going back to the next file. Next one, number 2. That's a file on, file number 3. I should go next. Number 3, 3C it's called. This is the first wife of Chaim Mendel. Not direct relation to us, but I still put it on the chart because many of them, like Luba Tool, I think still her relatives live in Ismail near Odessa. We're going to number 3A. 3A, that's Reza Zinger and Nelik Basya and Nelik Fega, my mother, Nelik Lev, me, Adam, and married to Allison. Needs to be updated. Serena, their daughter, is not in this file yet. Rona Desky, Henny Desky, and Yana Desky. Yana presently in Ireland, coming back to Israel soon. And so that's Nelik's Adesky's family. Then the file 3, it was 3A. The file 3B shows Chaim Mendel. Then file, let's see, what's file 4? File 4, also you can see it's not very easily to read, but it's readable and it needs to be updated. Um, that's Zhenya. Zhenya has children Lev and Dima, and that's Zhenya's sister Rita. She has children. They're in Canada presently, so that tree needs to be updated a little bit too. So here's the files. So anyway, I'm not going through every file in detail. I just want you to know that there is a file and you can access and your children can access. Now we're going to go to the next file, photos. Let's go through the photos. Okay, on this photo, this is me and Helene with Adam and Asher. This is Asher's younger son. This is my son. This is Reza and Chaim Mendel. This is my mother, Fagan Elik. This is me and Helene on the Dead Sea in January 2005. This is Adam with a soldier on the road. This is Adam putting tefillin in Jerusalem. This is the cemetery where my aunt Basya Nelik is buried. This is our New York family. This is me and Helene and Adam visiting family in New York. This is Adam and Helene dancing at the Asher's wedding. This is Adam, Asher, me and Helene. This is Bronya, was her brother. Unfortunately, passed away several years ago. Um, this is also our Tzafat Safat connections. Also, unfortunately, two of them are no longer alive. This is Mara, my cousin in Beersheba with my mother, and this is Lev, little Lev Goldenberg, Zhenya's son. This is my mother and me. You can see the size of us. Vita at the in one of the one I think in my mother's birthday in Beersheba many years ago. Vita and me, my mother and me. Helene with the camels. Bronya in the army. This is Lyosha. Foya, God bless his soul. Also, he's buried in Ashdod. Foya and Vita. This is Ron, Yana, and Henny, Vita's family. This is Zhenya and Olga's family. This is Zhenya with her mother Olga, the living Divona. This is Buma, Avram, Zhenya's son. Um, and I believe that's also him with he and his sister. This is also more of Avram Buma. This is Alexei and me in Kibbutz by Zita. This is Vova Salyenko. More on Foyer and Nikolai, Losha's father, also passed away several years ago. Losha and Nina, Zhenya, my cousin Zhenya and Vita. This is me and Helene at the Purim party. And this is a little video of the Torah Russian lessons that I teach. So, little photographs. I'm going a little bit quickly through this, of course, because, again, my intention is not to get all these details, but to get a general idea what photographs are. And with that, again, happy Purim. Again, stay in touch. My email, please send me, is lnelik, L-N-E-L-I-K, at pumpingmachinery.com, or Dr. Pump, Dr. Pump, at pumpingmachinery.com. My phone number is plus 972. This is the code of Israel, 972. The cell number 50-865-0451. So this is a little background on the family. Happy Purim, Hag Sameach, love you.